Good evening, everyone. This is delicious Don Juan the Texas Treat, and you are listening to the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, and I am joined this week by a somewhat emotional Tommy.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys. I'm good, really.
And someone who is ready for the winter break. It's Mike.
I'm Mike. I love wrestling, and tomorrow night winter is coming, so lucky them. Anyways.
Wish I could go to that show, man. I am so mad that I'm broke right now.
Yes. Looks pretty nice.
We could talk about that too. Like, what do you guys think about like these little mini shows that they kind of put into Dynamite?
Well,
yeah.
Hopefully, unlike Game of Thrones, the ending doesn't suck and disappoint us. But
well, hey, last year's Winter is Coming was a really good show. Like,
yes,
yeah,
for devious reasons.
But true. But see, there you go.
No,
if that had been the equivalent of how the actual Game of Thrones ended, that would have satisfied everybody.
Yes.
But since that didn't happen,
because AEW follows through on storylines. But anyways,
yeah, right.
We need more credit for doing that. Actually, they really do need more credit for that.
It's we're just not used to seeing that happen because we've been dealing with one promotion for so long, right?
yes.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We're going to be talking all about Ring of Honor Final Battle. Amazing show that they put on this past weekend. But it left a lot of things unanswered, a lot of questions, not just for the future of Ring of Honor, but for some of the wrestlers that are going to be officially without a contract at the end of the year. Lots of surprises, a lot of things that are taking place here. And I know we had said last week we might have the year-end awards this show, but there's a lot to talk about, and I feel like we're going to... I'll put at the end of the show what our kind of plan is to do that. But our next show in a couple weeks, we will talk about the year-end awards before we get into 2022 pay-per-views as well. So,
Man, we don't need no stinking plans.
anyway...
Let's just make it up as we go along. That's how I go through life.
So I live, yeah.
That's how I should.
That, not gonna lie, that's kind of what we've been doing on this show from the very beginning, and it hasn't really failed us yet, has it? So
actually, I think we've done a pretty good formula of not having a formula.
Well, let's jump right into it. Ring of Honor Final Battle. I happened to actually just catch the show finally this morning. Didn't get to watch the pre-show, which had 3 matches, if I'm not mistaken. Which was pretty awesome. One of which was the 6-man tag match, Ring of Honor 6-man tag, and to our surprise, the Righteous beat Shane Taylor Promotions.
That was the only thing on the show I 100% did not agree with.
Yeah?
I could not have disagreed with that harder if I tried.
Would you say that you had righteous anger about it?
I get it!
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, but in a way, maybe it does kind of open things up a bit for Shane Taylor Promotions too. They're not having to worry about defending titles wherever they go. It's really just them showing up where they want, when they want, and kind of invading a bit.
I feel like that was kind of their thing already with the belts. I felt like that was because to me them and Roxy were doing the same thing. They were taking those belts everywhere, and they were technically defending them all over the place. Like, just because it wasn't being reported a lot doesn't mean it wasn't happening. Like New Texas Pro, VIP, both, I think they defended them in respectively in both places. So I don't think they needed to do that to keep them from doing, because Khan, he actually lives in San Antonio, I think, and he would take that belt with him everywhere. When I announced for the show, which was super cool, I got to point out that he was 1/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man tag champs. I got to say that before he lost the belt, because that would have put a damper on that whole experience. But anyway, I'm glad I got to point that out.
Fractions
so yeah,
in wrestling.
I think the Righteous can do the same thing, because Bateman, he's in New Japan Strong. He leads, I forget what stable now, because Barrett Brown's in it. I can't think of the name of the stable.
Oh, god dang it, what is it?
Oh, what? You know what? I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, points to the righteous. They're not the worst team ever. I mean,
No.
but I still like Shane Taylor Promotions to keep it for obvious reasons.
Right. It was a bit of an emotional night too for Shane Taylor Promotions. I think of all the matches on the card, Kenny King versus Shane Taylor was the most emotional one. There was for a fight without honor, there was a lot of history. They made a good job of pointing out, and for that to go the way it did, it was pretty awesome. The ending and everything, and squash whatever beef they had. It seems like Kenny King is going to be a part of Shane Taylor Promotions going forward, wherever they move on to. So I did like that. This was an interesting...
Stray Dog Army. That's the name of the
Army.
group.
Okay.
Stray Dog Army. Yeah.
Which makes sense, Just a lot of guys know
It does,
really want
actually.
it. So
That's true. It does make sense. Go ahead. Sorry.
Josh Woods. I love him keeping this. Pure Rules matches. I think when the casual fan watches, or if you're not familiar with it, you don't fully understand what's going on. I think Ring of Honor does a good job of explaining it. I know when we would go to ACW shows, they tried to do it a little bit, and it was hard to really convey to an independent crowd. But what I think really helped this was that the commentators did a good job of discussing the strategy of it. Like, within the first minute of the match, Josh Woods had already made Brian Johnson get rid of 2 rope breaks.
Right.
How he does that, yeah. This was textbook one of the best Pure Rules matches I've ever seen. From the storytelling and everything.
When I got to watch it for full disclosure. For when I finished it a little bit ago, before we went live. Crazy life, man. Having a wife and stepdaughter. No one told me that would involve a lot of other stuff besides wrestling. God.
Oh yeah.
You would know better than me, JC.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Josh Woods. I think I have seriously underappreciated how good that guy is. Mm-hmm. Like watching that match. I mean, I saw it with the Gresham match, but I think because if you're next to Jonathan Gresham, he's kind of the highlight regardless of who he's wrestling, because he's just that damn good. But seeing Josh Woods against someone else, and again, this is no disrespect to Brian Johnson, who held his own, his credit in that whole match. But Josh Woods is just scary good, man. It's like the dude's like I can see him in a couple of years being a world champion literally anywhere, because he's scary good. So I thought that was a serious. I thought that was one of the best, like, wrestling wise, pun intended, pure wrestling matches of the whole night. So.
Bernsey, what's up, man? Good to see you. We're talking about Final Battle. If you got to see ROH Final Battle, let us know your thoughts on it as we kind of go along here. We're not really going in any sort of order, just kind of picking and choosing stuff to talk about. Obviously, the one that has, I think, the most takeaway for us, at least Texas-wise, is definitely Roxy against Willow Nightingale. The crowd was behind Willow a lot. I think a lot of it doing up because she had won 4 straight to get this title shot. But I like that they acknowledge Roxy defending this title all over the independents. She's been taking it everywhere, and acknowledging that she could do that in the future. She has technically one more title defense on Ring of Honor TV, and I believe it's against Max the Impaler. In like a week or two. As it stands right now, she's 10-0 in a Ring of Honor career, and could finish it fully undefeated.
She better finish it undefeated. He's so mad.
Obviously the biggest surprise, she gets the win, and I call this the biggest surprise because this was the first time in the show somebody appeared in person. Because throughout the show, you had gotten video messages from people like Adam Cole, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson was later on in the show, Hangman Page, the Young Bucks, and then all of a sudden, here comes Deonna Purrazzo. It's like, whoa, what is she doing here? Carrying the Reina de Reinas championship with her, and immediately issues a challenge. One, she calls her shot, says, I'm going to win that title back from Mickie James. And I believe that's going to happen at Hard to Kill, right? That they confirmed that?
Yeah, I think that's Hard to Kill. Yeah. And
right after that, she says, I want you in Impact, winner take all. Now, I don't know if that's going to include. I don't know if Triple H is going to have or Triple A is going to have something to say about that with the Reina de Reinas championship. But
excuse me, Diana, can
yeah, can we get that back? Right.
Yeah, for real.
But just the thought that they could be unifying Impact and Ring of Honor's women's championships.
Which I also goes along and hope it means that Roxy has a pretty good chance of just being an Impact in general, because I know we're going to talk about this later, but
Yeah.
the people and where they could go, but especially with her youth, I think that would be a great place to get started.
Yeah.
We've always talked about how great, whether it was TNA or even their current women's division is, and I would love to see her mix it up in there. So
Definitely. Obviously, the thoughts is hopefully she has a contract in there laid out, and this would allow her to work on TV, a little more exposure too. It's it's Access TV, it's Twitch, and work other independents. And depending how their working relationship is with AAA or even New Japan and Stardom, could potentially be doing a little bit of talent sharing there too.
yep.
Yeah.
And that begs the question too. Was like, what if Stardom starts their own sort of like G1 for women? How great would that be?
They have something like that, but the problem, it's not a problem. It's just that they haven't been able to really expand to getting like guest talent. Because but to be fair, New Japan doesn't do it a ton. I guess they're going to probably do it next year because suddenly they're teaming up with Noah for Wrestle Kingdom. By the way, that's not me complaining about them teaming up with Noah. The fact that we might get Okada and Go Shiozaki finally is like what? How does Mike phrase it? Oh yeah, 6 to midnight. Yeah. So there's that, but it's like they can't do it all the time. But I'm hoping by next year, because they have a couple of tournaments like that. I think the Cinderella tournament is one of their bigger ones. The Grand Prix. I think the Grand Prix is a tag team though. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they have it like that, and hopefully, because actually they announced again, Stardom will be at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know if it'll be a dark match again, but they'll be there. So and to me, every year they're there is a win for me because is a win to me because that means they'll get closer and closer to being on the show itself. Of like a dark match or a pre-show. Yeah. And when that happens, you won't be able to shut me up about that when we get that, because I will be talking about that nonstop on every social media platform I have.
Wrestle Kingdom is going to be 2 nights this year, right? Or is it 3?
2 nights and a special third night when the Noah guys
right.
will be there. That'll be on the 8th. That'll be on the 8th. Yeah.
It's going to be 3 straight, right?
3 straight.
Yeah.
Wait,
no? Because
it's like January 2 and then a third one later, right? Something like that.
The 6th will probably be New Year's Dash, technically. But the 18th is like a special Wrestle Kingdom kind of like celebration show. I think just because all the Japan promotions are just like, we are really sick of not doing anything anymore. We want more people.
It'll be New Japan Wrestle Kingdom Backlash or something like that. Some crazy thing.
I will take it because their backlash is guaranteed to be better than WWE's backlash, and I don't care who doesn't like what I just said.
My thing is, and this not to get off a tangent here, with New Japan, you have 2 nights. It's time you start working the Stardom matches on the main card. Don't give me the dark match bullshit, but you have this. If you're really serious about trying to compete with what's going on, or at least get your name out there more with on the American side of things too. I think you have to give that a little bit of airplay. I know it's traditionally been an all men's promotion, but give them something on the main show.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but again, things like that are hard to break tradition. I mean, it's slowly turning, but
yeah,
I don't know. That's an interesting. It might be might be a little bit of a cultural thing too. So you got to be careful there.
They said the same thing about women wrestling in the Middle East, and all it took was one.
All it took was Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, the saviors of the world.
People think it happened in Saudi Arabia. It really happened in Abu Dhabi. Let's not forget. So
here's where recent developments in America could actually help that argument a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys heard this, but with Best Friends and Chaos now, that includes Chris Statlander, and Rocky Romero revealed that also involves Trent's mom. Sue is I don't know if you guys, okay, good. You guys didn't hear this guy. I got to see your reactions. No, officially, according to Rocky Romero, he said yes, Sue is in chaos.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, she drives the group everywhere.
Yeah, she's the getaway car.
So it could happen because officially they have even a non-wrestler, but she's technically a valet. I guess you could count her as a valet.
No. I need Sue and Statlander challenging every women's tag team champion in every promotion. I need them touring.
Oh boy.
With Statlander having to get the hot tag to Sue, and Sue coming in like a house of fire. That's what I need.
As soon as you said that, the image of them in Stardom for the Goddess of Stardom Tag Championships,
everywhere
against like Julia and Sayuri, entered my head, and it is the funniest mental image I've had.
And I need Sue's white minivan to slowly become more Mad Max style as they go to different promotions.
I like it.
At the end, like Cassidy's just driving in the front of this, like totally open. There's no top or walls, and Sue and Statlander on the back with like face paint and skulls, and I just need the whole deal.
Breaking just confirmed for Hard to Kill, the inspiration definitive Sue and Statlander.
What I was gonna say, can you imagine if like Rosemary and Havoc win the Impact Women's Tag belts back, and like the hex of like Allison Kay and Marty Bell get in the ring, but then out of the complete nowhere, here comes Statlander and Sue in the Mad Max van, and just and like even Rosemary like, I'll fight anybody. I'm not fighting now.
All the other women are just like, whoa, Sue, whoa, no,
whoa,
not you.
Sue.
We got no beef with you.
Like, we'll take Chris Statlander, we'll fight Rosemary in the Dark Dimension, but we are not doing this, okay?
Right.
There is no contract big enough to get us in the ring with her.
I would love that story.
We'll move on to some of the things I liked. Homicide wearing the gear that he wore his very first appearance in Ring of Honor.
No, the Natural Born Killers overalls, man. I was like, yes. And of course, I tweeted out, Rocky Romero and Homicide tag teaming again. I don't care the situation, don't care why it happens. All we needed was Ricky Reyes to run in for literally no reason. And I wouldn't care if half the crowd didn't even know who he was. I'd have marked out like crazy if he just ran out for no reason at all. So.
Yeah, and in the second string post-match, we had EC3 and making it known he was starting something new. And released the Titan. Here comes Adam Shearer and a couple of other guys I didn't
He's
recognize.
already had like at least one of those like tape specials controller where like you can buy to watch it or whatever, right? To control the narrative.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like what he's doing.
Yes.
The weird part is I fully support what the weird part was it was supposed to be a heel promo, and I was like, actually this guy's 100% right. Mm-hmm. It's like when the second he said the corporate guys are keeping their jobs while wrestling, I was like, we supposed to boo this because I actually want to cheer it. I don't disagree with one thing this man just said.
In all fairness, it's the top corporate jobs because apparently even through the pandemic, even though it's gotten less traction and stuff, there have been a lot of office people, right. At WWE that got released too. But like people involved in some of their websites and different things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Briscoes defeat OGK, arguably the match of the night. So much with that. Mike, I know you haven't gotten to see the whole show, but that's one you definitely need to watch.
I've heard. I mean, I've seen some clips, and but I've heard it was an amazing match.
So here's what I wanted to say about that. For me personally, my favorite match was Shane Taylor and Kenny King. Objectively, between the tag match and the main event, those were objectively the best matches of the night to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, Shane Taylor and Kenny King are up there too, as well as the pure title match. But it's like when people say the tag title match was the best match of the night to them, I don't disagree because it's like, that's there's no reason why I would disagree with that.
Okay, and then after you talk about what happens at the end of the match and after, I need to go back to something I mentioned last week and talk about some stuff I heard about it, but get into what happens after the match.
Yeah, okay. Real quickly, Bernsey says, "Hi, my name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're gonna die." That's what I heard.
Yes! Love it. Perfect. I want no other. I don't want to say anything else but that.
Yeah. Yes, that's it.
Book it. This one was definitely one of the biggest things. FTR appearing after the match, and needed the locker room to separate these guys. It's been brewing for weeks on social media.
Here's the thing. I was hoping it would happen. I didn't think it'd be this soon. I didn't think it'd be a final battle, but I wanted it so bad because they have been calling each other out on social media all over the place, and so I knew it was going to happen. I was convinced, but I didn't know it was going to be a final battle.
First off, in all fairness, is there anybody FTR doesn't call out on social media?
In fairness, no.
They use it better than just about anybody. Second, do they have a match tomorrow night? Because if they do, Briscoes are totally interfering at some point.
I would love to see it.
I don't think they've announced the match tomorrow night, but who cares? If they're in the building, I'm sure. But Briscoes love Texas. Every time Mark comes there, he's wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And my thing is, it's like I wanted to ask him one time. I was like, okay, do you buy those each time, or do you just have one ready when you come down here? Because I can't remember if it's the same hat or not.
And the best part too is the entire Briscoe family was there ringside too, all the kids and everything like that.
Then they said Mark had another kid or has one on the way. It's
Number 7's on the way. So
I was like, bro, it's like I'm convinced you wrestle a lot. When do you and your wife have to? Okay, whatever.
He really loves to wrestle, whether it's in the ring or in the bedroom. That's just the way it goes.
I walked right into that joke. I can't believe I didn't see it coming. I walked right into that joke. The door was wide open, and I was like, la-di-da.
Yeah.
Like a pitching machine, setting them up.
You know, the funny part is when we met him in 2014 when they came to the show, and Tina was pregnant at the time, and that was a show we were discussing, you know, our kids with Kevin Steen, and then Mark was right there too. He's like, oh man, I love my kids. He's talking about his kids too, and who knows how many more he's had since then, right? So, yeah.
I was going to say, for Heath Slater, it was a gimmick. For Briscoe, it's a way of life. It's a real deal.
Heath Slater talked about his kids, and Mark brought him to ringside. Your move, Heath, right?
Seriously.
And then, of course, the main event.
Hold on. Sorry, real quick. Okay, I was going to talk about. So, I was joking last week about how the FTR is basically becoming the Midnights again. Like the tights they had the rainbow thing. And then they came out, and the last match I saw them, they have music very similar. Well, apparently they didn't know they were getting the music change to this theme. And so they came out, they have the little black tights with the rainbow on the back. Yeah. And then they even had the robes. Like they're going full.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I forgot about that. Yep.
Like they are smart enough not to do what WWE did and try to make the new Midnight Express. They are literally just going to be the Midnight Express, keeping their name, but doing everything. I can only imagine Cornette messes himself several times watching them wrestle. So. Just having flashbacks.
Well, that's a hell of a visual. By the way, Steady goes giggity from what we were talking about before. So, main event ended up being Jonathan Gresham against Jay Lethal because Bandito tested positive for COVID a few days before. So, now they wrestled for the original Ring of Honor World Championship. So, the belt with the original design.
I don't know why they would do that to me, because I feel like everything about that night was meant to make me cry, and bringing that belt out was designed to just break me entirely.
Obviously, very sad Bandito didn't get to be a part of this. Wish him speedy recovery, but
yeah, seriously.
When Lethal showed up in AEW and confirmed an interview, he will not be at Final Battle because he's no longer under contract. I'm glad that when this situation happened. I don't know how the conversation went. I don't know if Lethal reached out. If they reached out to him, said, "Hey, can you come do the show? We'll put you in the main event. You get to wrestle Jonathan Gresham." And it had more of a deeper story than that, you know.
It had to go through Tony Khan because he is signed to All Elite now, you know. But kudos to Tony Khan for being a wrestling fan and understanding, you know, what it means. Like, I'm not saying like he's just like, oh, y'all can have everyone. Like, obviously, you know, there were several other guys that he could have lent them or could have been open. You know, they made a lot of messages throughout the night. But he still said, you know, he'll send his support and he'll send some help. And he repeats a lot. And I know we're pretty jaded about trusting what wrestling people say because most of them are kind of carny and are always working. But he seems to be a genuine wrestling fan who enjoys it and has fun with it.
And I think that's why I don't really look at him as a wrestling like owner.
He's young. I mean, he hasn't had the time in the business either. So hopefully he stays that way for a while.
As long as he stays on like the top end business and lets the other guys handle how things are booked and the creative part of it, maybe he'll have some input, but I think he understands it more like,
I don't know if you read those stories. He's
pretty active.
Yeah. So there was a thing a couple months back about the EVPs no longer having their cloud or whatever. He was like, yeah, I kind of took over booking like at the beginning of 2021 or something. So like, I mean, obviously they still have input or stuff, but from what I understand and what I read last, and this was like a month or two ago, he's kind of got the same final say on things and kind of putting the main stuff. But, again, most of it has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think, in all fairness, I mean, if you think about when AEW real quick started, they had a lot of their friends in positions that you didn't know much about them, like Cutler, Peter Avalon. And not saying they're bad, but as AEW's grown and more stars have come in, those guys, kind of relegated to dark and elevation and stuff like that. So...
but at the same time, still not the worst position in wrestling they could possibly be in.
No.
That's the hilarious part. I was like, they're on dark and elevation, but it's somehow still better they be in NXT. Anyway,
that's still, and the dark and elevation are still promoted. They're still tweeted about, marketed.
You're right. I was actually going to bring up some dark and elevation matches that they announced for next week. So, but I'll say it.
One other thing I was going to say is apparently Leva Bates is pretty gets involved with a lot of stuff backstage as far as helping them run stuff. She seems to be very involved in the production of the show and stuff.
This could be a lot of these guys from the indies, kind of like at this point they're just like getting paychecks, and maybe they're just like, maybe we can start being agents, because Leva Bates, how long has she been doing this? So she would know
quite a while.
How to do that. So she'd probably help them out.
Again, I know we're getting off topic, but just real quick, following the careers of all those Queen of Queen wrestlers that they introduce us to, Leva Bates, Veda Scott, Mia Yim, Athena, who's Ember Moon now. It's been pretty cool to see their progression through the indies, through different organizations.
Sure.
Yeah.
Obviously Gresham wins the title. It was a pretty cool moment to see Lethal there, and as I said, they made a point to say how Gresham's never really beaten Lethal. He's always had trouble against him, and to kind of overcome that was pretty awesome. So
that's what I was gonna say about that. I was like, because I remember people saying, when Bandito tested positive, who could challenge? What were they gonna do, and who could challenge Gresham instead? And I know a lot of people would have loved to see, and I'm with them. I'd love to see Danielson, Punk, those kinds of things. But I think it was more poetically accurate for it to be Lethal. I think story-wise, as far as their careers go, that made the most sense. And honestly, the only other person I would have wanted to see if he hadn't already had a match that day would have been Jay Briscoe. I would have loved the Jay Briscoe-Jonathan Gresham match, only because, this is no disrespect to Lethal. Jay Briscoe is one of the guys who, literally, from day one, has always been there.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Lethal came around later, but literally on the very first DVD, in the first, because it was actually the first official match, because the first match on that card was actually more of a jumping, so it wasn't the first book match. I'll put it that way. But the first official match on the ROH card was Amazing Red versus Jay Briscoe. I think Red won.
And that's Mark couldn't. He was 16 at the time,
Mark
right?
was ringside as the manager because he couldn't wrestle because he was 17. Jay was 18, and that was the only way they got away with it.
Yeah. But yeah, this was had a great storyline to it, and obviously there's some doors open in there, and with how it ended up, and Lethal, it was pretty emotional. But before we get into where they go from here, I think it's good we could just talk our ratings on the show itself. So, Tommy and I went 5-2, and Mike 6-1. Killing it, man.
Which one did we get wrong that he got right?
Let me see here. It was Dalton Castle.
That's what
they
it
turned
was.
that into a four corners,
That's
and
what it
yeah, we both thought Castle. Yeah.
You know what's funny? After Rhett won, I said that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I said as soon as he won, I was like, you know what? That makes sense. I didn't even think that never even occurred to me, but Red Titus finally winning a singles belt in ROH made a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Guys, I know this is going to make being on a wrestling podcast difficult, but I'm not watching any more pay-per-views ever. Last 2 pay-per-views, I didn't watch them. Did amazing.
Maybe just watch them after the fact, right, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I guess so, or something.
We're gonna have to start each segment when we recap it, and me and JC saw the show, Mike didn't.
Yeah, and you'll find out why with our pick
Be like
results.
the name of the segment.
Yeah, insert name of segment
See,
here.
Tommy saw the show, and it's as usual, Mike did not. So
He won the guessing game.
All right, on to our WrestleCast ratings for this 0 to 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being a Surgeon's member. This one for me, a proper send off. I'm very happy with how it ended. One thing that did stick out to me that I thought I really enjoyed is right before the main event, they showed a video package that was just every Ring of Honor champion. It's just footage of them holding the belt as it progressed every way. It was pretty damn cool to see. But top to bottom, they did such a good job of leaving the door open that there could be a future for this.
They did have that video package at the very end of like that April 2022. So apparently they're really thinking that they'll be back by then.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll be back with everybody. Like that. I mean, everyone who can be back. Like,
Yeah.
I'm mostly talking about Kerry Silken, Todd Sinclair, Bobby Cruz, Amber Kabani, and Caprice Coleman, who I tweeted all of them at specifically. Anyway.
Yeah, they did it to such a good job as to pay homage to what Ring of Honor's past was and what the present is. And, the future obviously is wide open. I liked all the tributes, all the messages that came in. And they even did a better job of setting up everyone for their futures. Obviously, at the end of the year, they're going to be released. But there's a lot of things they set up for them going in the future to either other promotions or independents. It wasn't like a company ended and they just ended the stories for all these characters. They gave them something to work on that keep the fans interested in who these people are. And I thought that was great. 4.75 for me. Great show. I was very, very happy with it. Tommy, what about you?
Honestly, I gotta give it a 5.
Okay.
For a show that could have easily been like a, last show, but hey, we'll be back in April or whatever. But even if it's their last show, which I still pray to God it's not. I feel like it was one of the most respectful final outings I've ever seen in a wrestling promotion. It kind of feels like to me on a personal level when RCW took that hiatus when Brandon's daughter was born and she was really sick and he said I can't focus on RCW anymore.
Yeah.
It felt like that. Like, it was like a really respectful end of an era kind of show. But it also lets you hope for, like you said, hopeful for the future. Belts are technically still in play. There are still technically champions. Nothing is deactivated. Nothing is vacant. And there are still feuds. How many promotions can you say when they close the doors you knew there were feuds going in? I don't know if it's the WCW or ECW because I respect both companies and love what they did. When they closed, you knew they were done. You didn't know where anyone was going next because you couldn't. At least like with the Briscoes especially, you already know at some point them and FTR are gonna beat the snot out of each other. I don't. And this is me. I think I speak for all of us when I say I don't care where it happens. I'm down for this. I don't care. It could be in a back parking lot at a Walmart, and if they're selling tickets and I can get there, I'm in. So, but yeah, I mean Roxy and Deonna Purrazzo, who doesn't want to see that? Red Titus getting that moment, like we said, of him, all those years with ROH finally getting that. Shane Taylor and Kenny King having their the final match of their feud.
Yeah. And
Gresham getting the big win, which all of which was cool. I feel like this show could have easily been like just another pay-per-view. Then we'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
But it feels like to me, even if this is the end of an era, ended it on a high note. It was like, maybe we're gone, but damn it. That was a great last show, wasn't it? And people could look back and say, even if like 10 years from now, if they don't come back, people could look back and say, I'm excited to end it, but damn, Final Battle 2021, that show was a banger. So...
Mike, I know you haven't seen it, so I'm looking for company.
Yeah, but I'll respectfully decline and defer to y'all's rating.
Well, then our overall rating will be a 4.875. Hell of a way to go out for now, Ring of Honor, for now. But obviously my hope is that when they do come back, it is something that, they kind of, I guess, update something. If they're going to do something, it's got to be a little bit of new, obviously call back to the roots, but, something's going to change.
Let's move it to San Antonio and get it over with.
Yes, definitely.
You know what they could do when they come back? They could really break it back down to the roots. Because like I remember back in the day when they kind of had a similar ranking system like AEW has now. Mm-hmm. But one thing they had that was really big was the Top Contenders Trophy.
Yes.
It was like every other show, the trophy was who you determine number one contender, and even that trophy got defended like it was an actual title. It was almost like option C without it being an actual belt. It was just a Top Contenders Trophy, and I like that kind of thing. I hope they can do something like more do another ranking system. I feel like people were very critical of AEW's ranking system because it was what we're used to. I still love it, and I still think they could do that. But then they could have a niche division, world title, the TV championship, the pure and like specifically do it for each of those belts.
Yeah. A lot of, that they've tried that, like WCW when it was just kind of changing from NWA, had done some stuff like that where there were rankings, and then there was like they would do it for like the TV title and the US title. I know a lot of different indies and territories had done stuff like that, and I agree. I think if you do it well, and like for the most part, AEW's done it pretty well. I know sometimes they'll be like, well, how come this tag team is ranked second and they've won all these matches and they never get a shot? And but I think more often than not, AEW's use the rankings pretty well for their stories.
I just feel like no system is flawless, and like there are
of course,
like cracks in the system, and the number 2 team should got a shot by now. I agree with that, and they haven't yet. Like again, AEW is not perfect, and I wish we would stop acting like that. They have to be for us to enjoy.
No, if you're going to say bad things about WWE, AEW can never make a mistake. Never.
And I hate that. I was like, AEW can make mistakes. It's just that they're better at correcting them than WWE is.
All right, Terry, good to see you. Says Honor will return. Still believe. I love it. Still believe. I don't fully think it's done.
I'm holding out hope. Like so much hope. I'm holding out on that it'll come back.
Are you holding out for a hero?
Hey, if that has to be their theme song, and if I have to sing it for them to come back, I am down. I will fly.
As Human Shrek is riding down on his horse.
So that was one of the most epic scenes in any animated movie ever, and I would watch that whole movie just for that scene. I was like,
there's one out there, but I need like a hard rock version of that song for movies. I know there's versions out there that bands have made, but
no, of that version, I think I found one. If I find it, I'll send it to you.
Also, the girl who did "Smells Like Teen Spirit" for the Black Widow movie needs to do that song as well. Okay. I thought that when it was first all big.
So, Final Battle, as I mentioned, there's a lot they left open for the future of the promotion and the wrestlers that were involved, and I think that was one of the things they did well. Let's talk about the obvious one. Obviously, the Briscoes and FTR. Good way to transition.
Yes.
Obviously, that is going to happen. Could happen as soon as tomorrow at Winter's Coming with AEW. My money's on it for sure being a huge match at Revolution, if not before. Yeah. But it gives you pretty much a month and a half to build up to that. So,
and the funny part is, I don't even think you need that long.
No,
I think any wrestling fan who's watched wrestling for the past 10 years or more wants this match. Second FTR got out of WWE, and we're ready to face literally every tag team. Everyone said Briscoes.
Yeah.
It was on everyone's top 10 list, and most people's top 5. It was on my top 5. Everyone said Briscoes. And now with this, we could finally have that. And I'm like, if there's one silver lining from this whole ROH closing thing, it's that we can get that match now.
For sure, yeah. Terry says, I'm ready to ring announce for them again, so they have to come back. Yeah, well, the headquarters in San Antonio could happen,
nice.
Right?
He did great. Every time Terry announced for them, it was great.
Yeah.
I think he earned Bobby Cruz's respect a little bit in that regard, too. So.
Roxy Deonna Purrazzo. Obviously, she holds the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Deonna, like I said, is calling her shot. She wants to unite the titles, winner take all, at some point after Hard to Kill. So it seems obvious to me they wouldn't be setting this up if Roxy probably January 1 could be signing a contract with Impact and making appearances on Impact on Access TV as soon as that following Thursday. Good landing spot for her. Yay, nay, and how do you think she'll do on that roster?
Oh, yeah, like I said earlier, I think Impact would be a perfect place for her. Again, still young, and I think it's a good place for her to grow. There's tons of talented, seasoned wrestlers, female wrestlers on that roster. It'll give her a chance to continue to develop, and obviously with Ring of Honor out of it and Impact AEW, I don't see NXT WWE right now with their direction they're going because she's not a Division I college athlete, so she's pretty much out of luck. But it'll give her a little bit more time to keep working on her character, along with her wrestling skills and kind of just developing that whole package. And I think she'll do great things. There's a lot of women in Impact that she can learn from, and really sink a character into kind of playing off of and stuff.
Yeah, if there's one thing I think personally she needs to work on, obviously, is the promo work, some of the charisma, playing to the crowd a bit. That little promo they had with Peraza after the match, Peraza lays the challenge down, and rather than kind of let the crowd react to it, let it fester, like make it look like you're thinking about it, or at least get face to face with her, she's already just straight sticking her hand out, ready to accept. And I get that she's young, excited, down to do that, but at least give some tension there, you want to do this.
Tommy, let me ask you a question. Have you seen her in shows fairly often?
Yeah, I saw her for especially Heavy Metal or Dylan Dunbar did.
Has she been baptized by a Tommy tirade? That might be what she needs to.
Have not actually. To be fair, I have not tiraded her yet. Primarily because every time she's wrestling Rachel Rose, who is a favorite target of mine, so I'm too busy tirading Rachel Rose to tirade her.
Fair enough.
No. But I think also going to Impact could also lead her to go to places like NWA, which I think would be great for her because over there's Camille, there's Hex of Allison Kay and Marty Bell and and Mickey James, of course, and everything. So Impact's a good spot for her because it's big enough to where she can still get her name out there, and also kind of close knit enough to where I think more people will give her more solid advice and train her closer. Like I could see Gail Kim immediately taking her under wing, and giving her a lot of solid advice.
And really teaching her how to wrestle to the TV crowd a little bit more. She still looks a little, uncomfortable. I mean, you tell she's green in that area. She's used to the independence and whatnot, but getting to know where the cameras are, how to stand, how to that sort of thing.
Who she needs to wrestle to really learn that is like Rosemary or Havoc, because they are fantastic about getting into that camera for as creepy and hot as they are. So I mean creepy. I said creepy.
This time it wasn't me. Yeah. This time it wasn't me. I was thinking it, but I didn't say it.
I don't know if she'll beat Peraza. I know I would be definitely cheering for her to do it, and honestly, if she does and holds the title for a little while, then you start to develop a heel character for her. Like she thinks, "Hey, I'm the shit. I'm 20 and I'm already doing this."
Say. I was gonna say if she does, I could see that being the sort of a heel run because honestly, as a guy, if I was a wrestler, I'd be Deonna Purrazzo. That would be the start of my heel run because you wouldn't be able to tell me shit because I'd be Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah, and I honestly, a dream feud for me if she turns heel is Su Yung, Undead Bride, because I would love to see how she would react to that. Yeah, so.
You know who I honestly lately who I think Roxy could learn how to be a great heel from is Maddie Rankowski.
Yeah.
She's a hybrid student, of course. So I'm giving a free plug to hybrid here, Marvel. But she has been she turned heel a couple months ago, and she's been killing it in that role. And I think she has been learning a lot. She faced Camille at RCW recently. great match. She really played up her heel persona. And she's been doing it everywhere. And I really think she is one person who, I think her and Roxy could have a great feud, like later on, down the road when they both get more experience.
She's had some dark, literal AEW dark matches.
Yes.
As well.
She's gotten a lot of good press because they keep calling her back. So I take that as a good sign when they keep calling you back.
Yeah.
Franco Del Sol got a job because of it. So
The EC3 and Adam Scherer, we call him Titan, I guess, to make it easier, but the Control Your Narrative faction, that's an interesting one.
I think Wesley Blake was in that group.
Was Wesley Blake in there? Okay, yeah, I couldn't fully recognize who the other two guys were, but I heard some reports he was one of them.
I think it was EC1 and EC2, no?
I see what you did there. Where do they go?
What was I doing? I was looking up a name.
I'm like, all this hype about, okay, Shane Taylor Promotions are probably going to invade New Japan. They're going to invade. There's places they could go, right? But this Control Your Narrative group, they're a wild card a bit. They're a bit interesting. It's hard to figure them out,
Well, I think it's too full because I think they're going to continue to kind of do their own little pre-tape shows like you did before and kind of have them there. And then, I think they're viable to pop into Impact, NWA, probably some of the smaller ones. I don't know. I mean, the thing with Adam Scherer with Titan is you imagine he would be ready to go to one of the big ones. I mean, he's honestly was becoming one of the biggest stars, especially during the pandemic era. He was kind of finally getting his run, but of course, booking. I'll just stop there.
if that's what you want to call it.
I mean,
yeah.
So, but I think it's a place for them to kind of. I know it's literally what they call themselves, but kind of recreate themselves. They can do their shows. And then, like you said, I think kind of pop in, kind of invade, kind of show up at different places. Maybe not on a permanent basis, maybe over short-time storylines and then kind of move on. So it'll be interesting.
It's one of those things where they kind of build the army up here, too,
Yeah.
Terry, I gave Maddie the idea of going heel, using her attitude like she's better than everyone. She's doing great at it. Yeah, it's a natural fit.
Good job, Terry. Nice.
Good shit,
I didn't even know that. Nice.
Yep. That was an interesting one. Now, Gresham, of course, he holds the original Ring of Honor title, and I think technically they still recognize Bandito as Ring of Honor World Champion. He's never lost the belt. At some point, they're going to try and unify those titles somewhere down the road. It seems obvious.
You would hope so.
Now, Gresham, in his post-match off-the-air promo to the crowd, and someone got a video of this, or Ring of Honor put up video of this, has let it know that he's going to be wrestling or defending his title exclusively under pure rules matches stipulations. He wanted to focus on that. He's wanted to. That's kind of been the whole thing about the foundation too. Is bringing that back. And he plans to keep that legacy going in Terminus, his new promotion that he's going to be running. Kind of focusing a lot on that. And so the Ring of Honor title will be heavily defended there, possibly wherever else Gresham gets booked. I think he would be a natural fit in Impact. His wife is already there, right? So it seems like that would be the perfect spot to land there. So,
much power in one promotion, though. They can't do it.
Huh?
So much power in one promotion, they can't build.
Yeah, but I don't know if he'll take the title over there because they won't recognize pure rules matches or something. But
the thing he needs to do is
that could be his gimmick, though.
Wait, is she still the digital champion, right?
She's still the digital media champion.
The first thing he needs to do when he shows up
challenge her,
pin her for that title. Yes, it'd be so great.
That'd be awesome.
The problem is they would forget they were wrestling each other midway through the match. So.
Whoa.
Hey, read their tweets. I did not say anything
there
they wouldn't say on their own.
You're not wrong.
There will be a live sex celebration in the ring, and it might be even better than the one WWE gave us. So
I have a feeling it'd be a lot.
Down there.
Kidding.
I mean, it was Lita. That's not.
I know.
Not get too hasty.
I know.
Fair enough. I'm not.
Yeah.
We put him 1A, 1B. That's cool.
Yeah. Terry, Josh Woods versus Spears in AEW. Ooh.
That's actually. I think that aired tonight. It was on Dark.
Nice.
Oh, wow, nice.
Good to see that.
So-
Then.
Against the chairman.
It's the chairman. It's like I said, Josh Woods, very good. So I really feel like he's one of those guys that this won't hurt at all. Because I think, especially the match, I think personally it helps Brian Johnson their match too, where they go next, because they really showed that they can go.
Yeah.
And especially if Brian Johnson and Eli Isom and Dak Draper all joined the Control Your Narrative stable, because they got jumped into it, which is kind of weird to say about a wrestling stable. It's like you got to get jumped into it. I was like, okay, didn't know this was a Crips initiation, but whatever. I guess that's the direction we're going with this. Cool.
They're controlling their narrative, right? So
Yeah, it's like you had to. I was like, because like when he started talking, I was like, are they gonna jump them into this group? And they carried them out. I was like, I think they just jumped them into this group. What hood person is running Control Your Narrative?
Which of those, those four major things kind of intrigues you a bit, as far as between the Control Your Narrative, FTR, Deonna Purrazzo, and the Gresham taking the ROH title to Terminus?
Keep talking about FTR. It's really the Briscoes potentially going to AEW.
The Briscoes FTR thing. I'm talking about the people that showed up, is what I mean. Yeah.
Honestly, it would have been the Gresham Terminus thing until the Control Your Narrative thing happened. I honestly think that's kind of the more predictable story coming out of this. I feel like everything else, I won't say it was telegraphed, because that Deonna Purrazzo thing to me absolutely was not. But I feel like everything else you could kind of see was gonna happen, as far as Gresham with Terminus. That makes sense. FTR and the Briscoes, they have been calling each other out exclusively almost on Twitter and Instagram lately. The Control Your Narrative thing, to me, that came out of complete nowhere. Especially because I didn't even know Adam Shearer and EC3 had been in contact. Because to me, Shearer he'd been talking about he was getting ready to wrestle somewhere else, but a lot of his videos and stuff on Instagram had just been like him just kind of chilling and relaxing, which I'm not knocking that, because my God, the man needs to have some kind of fun right now after he got screwed over in his contract. But whatever.
Apparently, there's just his girlfriend on TikTok making him be in videos that he doesn't want to be in. So I found that one, and I was like, okay, these are hilarious. I didn't know.
There's one with him and this one girl. Like they switch places during the joke. It's like
when they look in the car. Yeah.
And because the girl says, "Hey, aren't you former?" It's like, Adam Shearer. He's like, "Aren't you not Adam Shearer?" It's like,
but
he's like, "I don't know." He rolls the window back up.
It was a couple weeks ago that I put in the chat, because I didn't know he was dating Raquel.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you ever find her TikTok, but there's a bunch of them where she does joke, and he's like,
"Oh yeah."
There are a couple that are. I laugh for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, they're actually stupid. I love them both. Good for them.
Props to him on that, though, because he made it a point to keep his appearance secret. Who knows how long he's known about it, and it's hard to do nowadays.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's still the tag match, though. FTR and the Briscoes is, like you said, assuming it's going to happen in AEW at one of their next pay-per-views, but it's going to tear down the house. And
I was just gonna say, I feel like that's like almost the main event match anywhere you book it. It's two of the best tag teams of the past 20 years going at it, man. So
yeah. Well, we'll see where this pans out. I'm actually pretty excited to see where they go from here, and we have no idea what Red Titus is going to do with the TV title too. That one is there, and the one I'm really interested to see.
Can you defend a TV title, if you're not on TV?
I was just gonna say, did that become the Digital Media Championship?
Unify that with the Digital Media, that'd be crazy, right?
Or just take its name.
I'm also interested to see where Dalton Castle ends up, and what promotion lets him take that gimmick in all its glory somewhere. It would be amazing.
Did he play D1 Sports? Then it's not NXT 2.0.
I really, really hope on some level it's him against Toriano at Wrestle Kingdom, or God knows what. That'd be a great gimmick match.
I feel like Toriano would not be as affected by that as Dalton Castle would expect him to be, because he'd be like, dude, do you know half the crap I've seen before I even got to New Japan? You are not affecting me in the least bit. Let's wrestle. Come on.
I would just love to see that crowd react to Dalton Castle too. I mean, The Japanese crowd is usually very serious, but if you get them to laugh and audibly laugh, you know you've done something right with the Japanese crowd.
I feel like they would laugh because it's like I feel like whenever they do find something hilarious, as stoic as they can be, if they find it funny, they will break immediately.
Yeah.
I feel like Dalton Castle would play it up so much they would be like, "Screw it, this is hilarious. We're gonna laugh."
Yeah.
So.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit of wrestling news, and the topics this week are actually provided by Tommy. He's got a few there to discuss here. So, topic number 1, Tommy, go for it.
Okay, so I feel like we should discuss the saddest one first, just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Because we need to discuss it. Jimmy Rave did pass away, as reported yesterday. And to me, it feels like it really is like one of the saddest stories because this comes like right after Final Battle, and then Prince Nana did actually manage a tag team on Dark Elevation, and I think I was saying bring back the Embassy, that'd be great, but it really hurts to see an ROH original, a guy who really did come up through ROH and had some fantastic feuds there. That's why he had been, especially his last few years of life were just so hard. He had his heart amputated at first, then his legs. He had just been going through so much crap, man. It was just heartbreaking to see that go down, and probably blessing in its own way, a curse in a lot of other ways that he passed away. He probably just was like, just had it, so, but it was really cool to see so many tributes to him. I did not expect many fans to do it as I did. Of course, there are a few jackasses, but ignore them. But as many fans as I thought would do it. A lot of old school ROH guys.
Yes.
A lot of great things. CM Punk, because and for people who don't, here's always what I want to say to people who do it, like, why is CM Punk a big deal? I was like, you gotta watch his ROH stuff. That's where you really saw it. And like, well, which ROH matches? And of course, I always go to Joe and Punk.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you really want to see some brutal CM Punk stuff as far as like no disqualification, dog collar match they had and the steel cage match to end their feud of Punk and Jimmy Rave was just fantastic storytelling, was just fantastic brutality in Ring of Honor, and I think really put Jimmy Rave on a high pedestal because CM Punk was already there. Mm-hmm. I mean, the trilogy with Joe alone, but Jimmy Rave still had to get there. I feel like those matches helped them, and of course the feud with Generation Next. One of my favorite matches in ROH history and in wrestling history is the steel cage warfare between Generation Next and the Embassy. And Jimmy Rave was such a huge part of all my Ring of Honor memories that when he passed, I was just like, oh, man, dude, freaking 2020 and 2021, bro, just this 2-year stretch, man, just sucks.
It's been. I mean, the sports world got hit with Demaryius Thomas suddenly passing away.
Yeah.
He had a history of seizures. A legend in music and especially in Mexico, and to anyone that loved mariachi music, Vicente Fernandez.
And that one, I was like, damn, man.
That's one guy I wish I could have seen live, but as my suegra, my mother-in-law told me, she's seen him a few times, and he sang better the drunker he got. He'd be drinking tequila the whole goddamn night.
That's awesome.
And I believe it too.
And then for writing wise, for me, Anne Rice passed away.
I heard about that, man.
And I was just like, oh, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most prolific vampire writers is gone.
I think the first 4 or so books of that vampire series, up through Queen of the Damned. I know we're getting off topic, but that movie upset me so bad. Because that was my favorite book, because it went to the backstory of how vampires basically were created, and I loved Aaliyah, but it was really just a vehicle to like show her off in the skimpy stuff and not do anything else. But that was very unfortunate.
Let's see here. Rest in peace, Jimmy Rave. This heartbreaking whenever somebody in this business does pass away, and. I'm glad the tributes got there, and there were a few of them at Final Battle as well. Tommy, topic number 2, what you got?
Well, before we get to that, I just want to make actually a quick one that I forgot to mention. Matt Hardy talking to Jeff, saying how he's good and he's not on any kind of drugs or anything like that. And someone posted a theory. I think I sent it to you guys. They said Jeff was probably beaten down from the schedule and just wanted to some time away, especially because his band is starting to tour right now, and it's like that's probably why he declined rehab. And I was like, that makes the most sense out of everything I could think of.
You know, it's. I hate the theory someone has said he did that on purpose to get released. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he asked for some time off to help with his band touring, or maybe he just who knows what happened that day, and he got fed up. But honestly, when that incident happened, I thought in my head I was already like, well, he's gonna get released. You know, they're just gonna use that as an easy way to cut ties. I'm not sitting there saying that he's on drugs or anything. Matt has confirmed he's not. He's good. He's clean. But either way, I personally think it's a good thing for Matt. A little freedom to do what he wants. He's kind of his own thing. And I think him trying to fit into the WWE mold is just... It just doesn't make sense at this point in his career.
I mean, for Jeff is like he was in that mold for a while, but then this new mold they have is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not a good fit for him. Something like AEW, something like NWA for all I care, Impact, where he's a huge star, you know. Those seem to fit his schedule and what he wants to do a lot better. So,
and plus, it's Jeff Hardy. If the man retires tomorrow, I think of all people, he can retire tomorrow, and I think we got everything at him that we deserve.
Yeah, for sure.
And then some. So,
we'll probably never know what happened for sure. Yeah, I agree, but I don't think we need to know. As long as he's healthy, as long as he's clean, as long as he's doing what he loves, I think we're good. I think he really didn't need WWE, and WWE didn't really need him. It seems obvious they're ready to quickly let him go, you know. Tommy, topic number 2, what you got?
Anthony Ogogo decided to wake up and choose violence.
Okay.
I don't know what possessed him to tweet this. Of course, I didn't get his Twitter. I asked that question on a regular basis. And he said, I can't remember what day I can't see what day he posted this. It's probably Sunday, because this is the day that Jordan Grace replied, as did Hornswoggle. Believe me, it's worth the read. Here's what Anthony Ogogo said. Keep in mind, this is the guy who's been wrestling exactly 1 year. He said, son of a bitch, I can't believe he said this. He said, super cute that Jonathan Gresham was the last ever ROH champ, which, by the way, we still don't know yet. And he said, but kind of reminds me when Hornswoggle was the last ever cruiserweight champ. Congrats, kiddo.
Okay.
Okay.
No. I'm going to start this off by saying the one fucking question that I think anybody that's watching this show probably thinks: who the fuck is Anthony Ogogo?
I mean, in all fairness, he is an Olympic medalist. Okay. He did get used by Cody so Cody could do an All-American gimmick.
Someone put, I'm glad Homelander Cody beat you now.
I'd like to believe this is some kayfabe going on, but even if it was, I don't think Ogogo would be the first person they bring in, or that Gresham would face coming in.
Seriously, I think he's so far down that list, because when he comes in, the first person better be Bryan Danielson. Anyway, so responses. First, Jordan Grace, because, you know, she defends her man so well.
Props to her for this,
like,
too.
He defends her too. I love their relationship. Like, just on social media alone, I love their relationship. But she said, did you get to the hammerlock part of training yet, or are you still at the wrist lock? And I almost dropped my phone laughing at that. Now, Hornswoggle woke up and just said, I want the smoke. And he's like, just bring it, bro. So, because he said, super cute how you try to downplay something that wrestling fans still remember to this day 14 years later. Kind of reminds me of when you... Wait, what have you done again that's noteworthy?
She's not wrong. That's my point. Who the fuck is Anthony Ogogo? I've literally never heard of this guy until you brought this story up, and I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah.
My favorite part of that is, like, Hornswoggle is just like, dude, I was champion. We're not. So.
Yeah.
Oh man. God, I just laughed because the tweets were hilarious. Like, some people I think who are just, you know, not really huge Ring of Honor fans kind of agree with Ogogo, you know, which, you know, they got torn down too. But like the Hornswoggle and Jordan Grace fans and Jonathan Gresham fans came out in droves, and that was amazing.
All right, topic number 3.
That story.
Because fuck Anthony Ogogo at this point. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
This one is also sad. Thankfully it's not tragic, but it is sad. I don't know his full name, but he goes by Hannibal. That's one of his names. He's Blood Hunter, and on the indie scene in Texas. Crossed the line, absolutely crossed the line. He was trying to do a spot where he assaulted a referee after he lost a match. Took it too far. If anyone's seen the video of the attack, brutal.
What I had heard is apparently the ref was supposed to blade himself as part of the melee. Yeah. And apparently he didn't do it well enough and it didn't really start dripping. So then this guy, apparently it seems like, got pissed and decided to take upon himself and kind of attempted to murder a guy, it seems like.
Oh gosh, go ahead.
The hospital images are pretty brutal. He had to get staples. They showed the chair after he got stapled up, and it was just a mess. I have my video feed open. I just looked and I saw Terry said, "Oh, way across the line."
Yeah,
yeah.
Let me know when you're done because I do have something to say about this. We'll go for it. So.
But I know who's two people who are very outspoken in pro wrestling, especially in Texas. Veronica and Scott Brazier. Veronica, as most people know her as Simply Luscious. Mm-hmm. They are and Bryson Scott. Mm-hmm. They are now on a tear to get him out of pro wrestling, especially in Texas. And this is amazing because it's the same guy who tried to, I don't know if he successfully did, or tried to sue Abdullah the Butcher, or trying for blading.
I heard some people talking about this, and I was like, yeah,
okay. Because I remember that story because I didn't know it was him though. I didn't know who it was. I remember that story. I didn't know it was him. And then he had some problem with Kevin is almost like the Dave Chappelle of pro wrestling. He doesn't care and he'll walk away if he has to because he'll like, dude, I'll just walk away, go do something else like for 10 years and I really don't care. So. Oh, it's and people who keep saying it's a work have been pissing me off. It's like, no, dude. I don't know the referee personally, but I know people who know him, and if they're telling me this is not a work, then it's not a work. Isaiah James has been calling him out. Hannibal blocked him. Isaiah James don't care. A lot of other people have been calling him out. Just trying to get him out, And at this point, yeah, to me, it's like I don't care how good you are, especially if you're assaulting a referee. I don't care if they didn't blade enough for you.
Yeah,
it's never okay. There's no excuse for this.
And I'm seeing all the comments pop up here. Way crossed the line from Terry. Now he has a blood infection. Burnsy said he should be in jail. Excuse me. Terry, he got Hep C from Abby supposedly. This is the second time in as many years we've talked about an issue where a guy took liberties with a referee. I think that, step one, that's annoying. Referees are such an underrated, but arguably the most important part of any wrestling promotion. Now,
I 100% agree.
Yeah, now obviously, we see the two wrestlers, but the refs are the one checking on them. They're the ones during the match making sure you're okay, making sure it keeps going, whatever.
It's not the match if you're actually hurt.
And for anybody, wrestler, referee, or otherwise, to put their life in your hands in anything. Pile driver. I'll give you a prime example. Barry Breeze, you guys remember him? I asked him, if you guys remember Problems had one of the best, well, he called it a Mexican destroyer, that I've ever seen. And I asked Barry, like, how scary is that to take that move? And he said, with him, I'm not scared. I trust him wholeheartedly because he does it so well. He always protects me. And that's a scary spot. I saw Mike Dale try to take over Petey Williams. He got too scared and couldn't pull it off. I remember that from a BOW show. But, there are a lot of moves that are just scary. A blading spot, if anyone's never done it before, obviously you want to put it in the hands of someone that's safe. Obviously this guy's not safe. I'm not even going to mention his name because it's not worth mentioning. I have his name written down, and honestly, right at this point, if you're a promoter out there, I know I don't make it to a lot of independent shows. I'm trying to pick it back up as the kids get older. But if you're a promoter out there and you book this guy, I'm not gonna be a part of it. I'm not gonna watch it.
I know a lot of people who've already said if they're booked the same show as him, they're not going.
Oh yeah,
they won't do it.
I've seen a lot of wrestlers in Texas or that are in Texas say this guy's a piece of shit. Upwards from Brent McKenzie, JT LaMotta, Raina Pink, Terry right here. Don't touch the rough period. Exactly.
Yeah.
The dude busted an artery.
Yeah.
Damn near tried to murder the guy, and it wasn't just he tried to. I saw the video, and if you've seen it, please don't share it. Don't watch it.
Please
again.
don't.
Don't give it views. It's very brutal. I'm glad this guy's okay. I know he's dealing with medical issues now. The referee I'm speaking of.
They put up a GoFundMe. I don't have the link, but if anyone wants it, I'll forward it to the Kansas City WrestleCast Twitter, and you guys.
Or if you tweet it, I can retweet it too.
Yeah.
But this is annoying. Refs are arguably the most important part, and people put lives in your hands. You need to take care of them, and guys like this need to be out of the business. Now, I'm not a booker. I'm not a promoter. There's a lot of people in wrestling that I've had my personal opinions on that I said should not be wrestling. Some I might be wrong on, but this is one I'm pretty sure that I'm right. And I really hope there's some sort of online database, not necessarily rate your teacher, but rate your wrestler, something where you guys on the back end, Terry, you and other promoters can say, what issues have you had with this guy? Do your due diligence before you book a guy. Find out who they're associated with. And, I'm not saying not everyone is guilty by who they're associated with, but if this guy's had problems before, you need to look into that and make sure you're not putting a bad stain on your promotion because you brought this guy in. That's all I'll say from that. The ref is the most important part of it. 1 and 2, you guys are putting together. It is entertainment. It is a sport in the end, but ultimately you need to take care of each other in the ring. So
this reminds me also of that time when Sexy Star tried to purposefully injure Rosemary, which got her essentially blacklisted from everywhere too. Like Cody,
Yeah.
I heard she's tried to wrestle since then. I don't know if she does now, but I know she couldn't wrestle anywhere for years after that because everyone was just done with her after that.
Mike, anything you want to add on that, or I don't even want to.
No, I mean it's pretty clear he went too far. It was ridiculous, and I mean I agree in general. It doesn't seem like he's someone that needs to keep getting booked on shows. I know wrestlers do a lot of crazy things, and there's some, depending on the promotion, that will put their bodies through a lot. They'll they'll do a lot, especially these death match things, but this wasn't that. No. This was, apparently the ref was supposed to blade, didn't do it well.
So what? Cut
I know, like a Nick Gage or something, where you try to do the quick little thing yourself to do it, or, like Masada would do the
skewers.
The skewers, and that's got to stick in a bit, but I've always assumed those have been completely, they know what they're getting into, the opponent knows what they're getting into, you know what I mean?
Trusting them.
This is just you taking liberties, and there's no room for that. So
I've talked to guys who do the skewer thing with Masada. They're he's it's brutal and it hurts, but he explains how he's doing it, so that's why it makes sense, and it's not nowhere near as bad as it. They say it's not as bad as it looks. It just looks really good, so it looks good for the camera.
Yeah.
I can't fathom in my mind what would make you go that far. Especially for the ref, you know what I'm saying? It's he didn't blade enough. So just do the call an audible in the ring, just punch him a few times and knock him out. The referees, they're paper. Apparently during matches, if you knock into them hard enough, they're out for 45 minutes. Look how many times Mike Knox spits on the floor.
I know refs take bumps. They don't do these hardcore spots very much. Give him a little leeway if he doesn't know how to blade himself. Okay,
And Mike, when you said Nick Gage, I was like, the guy who I'm positive does not feel pain at all like other human beings.
I'm assuming his opponents do, but again, I assume it's also
except for Moxley.
Yeah, and David Arquette, but okay, maybe that's a bad example.
David Arquette's just is certifiable, period. So Nick Gage is dude, calm down.
All right. With that, thank you, Tommy, for handling the news there. That was pretty cool.
No problem, man. I just had a few topics
Yeah.
I saw run across my feed. So,
With that, we'll move into our 1 minute warning segment. Mike, you got something this week?
No, I think I'm going to pass. Main thing is just looking forward to tomorrow night. Hangman and Bryan Danielson.
I can't wait to watch.
Should be an amazing match.
Yeah,
Tommy, do you have something this week?
I have something. It's gonna be quick.
Okay. Whenever you're ready. Go for it.
La Rosa Negra needs to be booked somewhere. I don't care where, anywhere. She is too good to not be on someone's TV screen. I went to Mission Pro this past Saturday, and she wrestled in the scramble match, which she won, thank God. And it's just like, why isn't she on the TV screen? Why are we only watching her on like Title Match Network? I bought one of her shirts. But I was like, why? What is happening? Why have we not booked her somewhere? She needs to be booked. She is so good. Even if she's not a wrestler, she could be a trainer because she's just so good. I can't see anyone who can't learn from her. So the full gist of the seminar is, I want to sign La Rosa Negra yesterday. Thank you.
Nice. And 20 seconds to spare. That was pretty quick. So yeah. I know we talked a bit about referees and everything like that, and I am going to kind of touch on that a little bit more. Actually, one thing I want to announce, but first thing I want to acknowledge is that one of the best things about the final match of Ring of Honor is that it was 2 black wrestlers, 1-on-1. That's something we had talked about, that WWE was a long way from doing that. Like, we finally saw it when it was Lashley against Big E. But that is something to be celebrated. How much that company in 20 years grew, and how much they made everybody a star. If you put the work in, they did some great things with your career, and it's pretty amazing. Now, as far as referees go, I want to send a congrats to Raina Pink, who was voted the best referee in Texas for 2021.
Nice.
Can you believe that? So, I am very happy to see that. I know she's been out of the business for a while, but I think a referee is a good fit for her. She seems to be doing well. That's something I actually want to start doing. I know I said I wanted to do more interviews this past year. Things got crazy. I want to try and get those done a little bit more in 2022. And on my list for sure are Alex Morosos and Raina Pink. Especially with us having to deal with 2 referee incidents in the last 2 years. One, I forget, I think it was a show in the UK where a guy attacked a ref and that caused an uproar. And obviously one
I remember that.
Yeah,
oh my God, I forgot all about that.
Hopefully working that out in the near future would be great. And that's where I want to leave that with my 1 minute warning. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna brag a bit. Kenny King and Shane Taylor both like my tweet and Instagram post about their match, so throw that out there before we get off this. That's why I was looking at my phone just now. Yeah.
Birdsey said, "Who knew Hornswoggle was a savage?" By the way. And
yeah, that I don't know if you follow him or some of the stuff he does with like
Cardona. Homie wants the smoke, bro. Like,
yeah, he does.
I'm not surprised by that. I've heard him on podcasts before. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Terry says also, congrats, Tom made a great job ring-announcing at BOW in his absence. Terry, I'm just going to say this. Tommy might be coming for your job. Just, throw it out there.
That's not what that was. I knew someone was going to say that, too. That's not at all.
I was waiting for him to be on the show so I can call it out, but, honestly. He's done a great job ring-announcing, and it's not surprising that Tommy does this well. I saw him ring-announce one match in RCW once, so they threw him in there, and he just nailed it. And Brandon had the microphone he got. He looks at me like, "Oh, damn," So
I didn't know he looked at you.
Yeah, he looked at me like, "Oh, hey, what's going on here?" So, yeah.
I just want to know how hard it was not to say other things after you finished the ring announcing.
Yeah.
Very, because actually no, I take it back. It was actually easy because Clint handed me the camera and I had to be the cameraman too. So I had to do jobs that night.
That was the hard part when I was cameraman for Hybrid Experience. Like, I have to be quiet now. God damn it, But thankfully, I will say this: 2 years ago to this date was when my son was calling out Richie, a 2-year-old at the time, about wants to come for his belt, and that was God, one of the greatest members.
And he's taller and weighs more than Richie, so what are we going to do?
Hey, I say give it like 2 more years. You guys sign a waiver and just like let's just let this match happen now, and let's just get it. instead of playing the long con, just do it now. Let's settle it.
Yeah, somehow all his specials and finishers are either Batman or Miles Morales related. So
he'll probably flip into the ring, and then he's going to bust out his T-ball bat and start going for the knees. It's basically what he's
But you somehow said that like I wouldn't 100% back him on that and help him come up with names. Like,
oh no, that's definitely what they're going to be.
Yeah. Brady says, "Uh-oh, a fight coming," and Terry says he's going to turn heel. By the way, so
you know what? This is exactly why I didn't want to do it in the first damn place because I knew this kind of crap was coming.
Anyway, want to say thank you to everybody for joining us for this one. It is a bittersweet thing talking about Ring of Honor Final Battle. We'll see what the future is. Hopefully it is back in April. And Terry, I know you're holding out hope. I believe they'll be back. I believe that there's a lot of changes they need to make, where they go from here, how they rebrand, so to speak. It's going to be a lot of change, and they have a few months to do it. Maybe get a better TV partner, because Sinclair's not the best. I'm just throwing that out there right now. And some better headquarters. Hey, we're open here in San Antonio. Now, next week, we're going to be kind of taking a little break. It is the Christmas week.
Big things are going to happen.
Yeah, so I'm going to be traveling a bit, but the following week from there, we're going to be doing a couple of series of shows. On the 30th, we're going to be looking at doing our year-end awards for 2021. We're going to be keep onto our Twitter at @CCG_WrestleCast. We're going to talk amongst us and kind of come up with some nominees for all of our awards. And we'll also be presenting our own individual WrestleCast awards. If you watched our show from last year, we all came up with an award and who should receive it. I believe mine was the Blown Opportunity of the Year, and that went to Tessa Blanchard for 2020.
I gotta go back and watch it.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Mike had a Deadpool Maximum Effort Award and went to Orange Cassidy. You remember that? So
I am funny sometimes.
Yes. So stay tuned with that. We might have some nominees out there on our Twitter, and maybe you guys to vote, and your votes may count toward who, along with our votes on who we think could be things like male wrestler of the year, female wrestler of the year, pay-per-view of the year, match of the year, promotion of the year, those sort of things. So we'll be doing
pay-per-view of the year is just going to be all the AEW ones.
Honestly, we're basing it off of our highest rated ones, and 3 of them are AEW. I got to be completely honest with you.
So they're all going to be AEW.
Yeah, that's no bias. It's just how we rated it, and that's probably where we're going to go. From there, we'll do that on the 30th, and then probably on January 1st during the day. That is a Saturday. Before you get all crazy into the college football bowl games of that day, we're going to be previewing WWE Day 1 and New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 16. So.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. And Wrestle Kingdom happens to fall around when we would normally have our Tuesday show. So that following week might be another Thursday show. We'll see. We're trying to work that out.
Tommy's probably going to be busy.
Yeah, Tommy's going to be busy, probably losing a lot of sleep. And
if I'm busy both days, I'm just going to avoid social media, and as soon as I wake up, just getting like it. Cause I real quick when Shibata came back, I got a message from a friend on Messenger. He said, "Do not look at social media. Just turn on New Japan World. Go to this." He gave me the time code. He said, "Don't get on social media. Do not." He said it so seriously, it scared me. I thought somebody died.
Is Shibata the one that likes bread?
I don't know if you heard that, Tommy. Say again, Mike.
I said, is Ciabatta the one that likes bread?
Where do you live again? I'm gonna come attack you.
The recesses of my own mind.
This is to hold my phone to take pictures, but I'm gonna use it to beat.
In all fairness, I know there is a New Japan guy who's all about bread, but I just figured with the name Ciabatta it fit. Okay, calm down.
Ciabatta, first of all, you jack.
It's funny. It's funny.
You know what?
Thank you everyone for joining us. I want to wish everyone a safe whatever you're doing for the Christmas holiday. I'm going to be traveling myself. Won't say exactly where because we're still surprising the kids with that, so I don't want them to watch this. But we'll see you after the Christmas holiday, probably on December 30th. Stay tuned to our Twitter at @CCG_WrestleCast for chances to vote on awards. You could also be checking out the Countdown City Geekcast Facebook page. I'll probably have some votes on there as well.
Go see Spider-Man this weekend.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Ooh.
if you go see Spider-Man No Way Home, do the world a favor and don't post any spoilers for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Give people a chance to see that, myself included.
Like,
And,
also, literally at the theater, if you go see it, do not walk out loudly talking about it with you, your family, your friends, please. Be respectful of people waiting.
I will fight somebody if that
Yes.
happens while I'm trying to go see this movie. I don't care. If people just want some hands, check what happens in this movie, and you will get all the hands you can handle. I promise.
And by the same token, on December 22nd, don't post any spoilers about The Matrix Resurrections. Yes, that does come out that day.
Yeah, I don't want to know about that.
Looking forward to watching that on HBO Max. Yeah,
I
so
want to see that and see what happens.
Another spoiler about that movie. Apparently, he knows Kung Fu again.
yes.
It was
We
in
in the show now.
I've been trying to. You guys keep going. I've been
right.
trying to get it to.
Over here, we got Tommy.
Guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.
See y'all in a couple weeks. Stay safe out there.
Bye.